If you are a best man who has been asked to give a speech at a wedding, first off, congratulations for being asked to be best man in the first place. That's huge. But second, I want to congratulate you for doing something that 90% of best men don't do, and that is research and planning and getting ready to deliver a great speech. Or maybe you're a groomsman and you have the opportunity to give a speech and this video caught your attention. Whatever brought you here, I want to thank you for watching this video. My name is Wade Patterson. I'm passionate about impactful communication and becoming a better communicator. And if that is something you are interested in doing, I would encourage you to subscribe to my channel. It is my goal to provide a lot of video content that is going to help you be a better public speaker and a better communicator in general. I'm not gonna lie, there is a lot of pressure on the best man speech. Everyone is waiting at the reception to see what are the speeches going to be like, and the best man, often people are expecting that to be funny, and that brings me to my first tip. My first tip for delivering a killer best man speech is to deliver humor early. In many of my videos, I talk about the power of using humor in a speech. It does two things. It relaxes your audience. As soon as you make the audience laugh, they can sit back in their chairs and they know it's going to be an enjoyable speech. You already have them laughing in the first few seconds. But the bigger element is that it relaxes you as the speaker. If you hear the audience laughing and you're able to establish that humor early in the speech, now you have the confidence to continue the rest of your speech knowing that you're building on that momentum and it's going to be a fantastic speech. While humor is incredibly important, you also want to strike that balance between humorous things and nice things that you're saying about the groom. If it's all just humor, and especially if those jokes are coming at the groom's behalf, that might not go over so well. I've been to some weddings where, yes, they're funny speeches, joke after joke, but the audience is left with a feeling of, wow, that person really didn't say that many nice things about whoever it is that they're speaking about. And I think that the best speeches definitely leverage that humor, but balance humor with the nice things as well. A couple more small tips on the side of humor. Self-deprecating stories or jokes always work the best. Rather than you making fun of the groom, throw yourself under the bus. Make the groom look like the hero and allow everyone to laugh at yourself. When somebody is able to give a speech and use self-deprecating humor, the audience, they appreciate it. They laugh even harder because they empathize with you being in that situation, and often they can see themselves in that situation. But the fact that you were brave enough to tell the joke, to make fun of yourself, that's going to get a lot of laughter. And one final thought on humor: personal stories often work better than canned jokes or things that you found on the internet that are funny. It is really hard to take a formal joke and make it your own and make it very funny. I'm not saying it's not possible, but if you have personal stories that are funny, definitely use those for the best man speech. The next tip I have for delivering an amazing best man speech is to have some sort of speech structure. There are many different structures that speeches can have, but I'm going to give you two examples of what those could look like. And the first example are speeches that come full circle. So hypothetically, let's pretend your friend, the groom, is somebody who is incredibly reliable. Your opening to the speech could be a sentence or a few sentences that illustrate that explain that this person, Brad we'll call him, Brad is one of your best friends, and one of the traits you admire so much about Brad is his reliability. From there, you can tell a few stories or give examples that kind of hang on the theme of reliability. So these speeches can be humorous, they can get the audience's attention, but the underlying theme can continue to be reliability throughout the speech. Then, as you go on to say a few words about the person that Brad is marrying, perhaps you can still weave reliability into that. But the key with a full circle speech, no matter how many times throughout the body of the speech you touch on reliability, even if you only do it once or twice, the idea is that you conclude with a very similar sentence to how you opened the speech with. The power of a full circle structured speech is that the audience, it's like this aha moment at the end. They think, wow, all of this tied together. This speaker is masterful. They brought this idea together. They took us on a journey throughout the speech, and then they tied it up very nicely, bringing it back to the original point, which was reliability. The second example of an interesting speech structure is the idea of branches. This works very well if you have three maybe periods of time that you really knew the person through, and you have stories to go along with each of those. Again, using Brad, this hypothetical Brad as an example, if you knew Brad from your high school days and that friendship continued throughout into your adult life, you could break the speech up into 3 periods, and you could talk about how Brad has been a consistent friend ever since, or through all of those 3 times. So you could talk about high school, that could be the first period of time. The second period could be the college days of knowing Brad, and then the final can be life since, knowing Brad in your 20s perhaps. And if you have stories, quick little stories for each of these time periods, and you can tie those in, and they show, maybe they're humorous, because humor is an important part of a best man speech, but they also show positive characteristics that never changed about Brad. And that's what you're bringing it back to, is that Brad is this consistent friend who has been amazing, no matter if it was high school, college, or into our adult lives. I've seen several speeches that branch off into 3 or maybe 5 categories, and these speeches are incredibly effective, especially when you have multiple short stories about that particular person. Regardless of the structure of speech that you use, you should set aside some time in the speech toward the end to talk about the person that the groom or whoever it is that you're best man for is marrying. You want to talk about that person. And if for the groom we use the example of 50% should be humorous, 50% should be nice things, I would suggest we change it to 75% nice things at least, and 25% maybe some jokes for the person that they are marrying. And the reason for this is you don't want to roast that person. It's a good opportunity. Your speech is focused on Brad or whoever the groom is that you're best man for, and whoever that person is marrying, you want to say nice things. You want it to be very welcoming, and that is going to be a short part of the speech. A big question for anyone giving a speech is, how long should this speech be? My suggestion, and I'm a big fan of the Toastmasters program, and those of you who know Toastmasters will be familiar with this timing, and that is 5 to 7 minutes. That is an ideal stretch of time for any speech. Anything longer than 7 minutes, it feels like the speech is going too long, and people are wondering when it's going to end. Anything short of 5 minutes, people are left wanting a little bit more. They think, oh, that could have been a little bit longer. 5 to 7 minutes is a very good strategy. Depending how long your speech is, I would say keep about 20% of the time minimum to talk about the person your friend is marrying. One of my most important pieces of advice, and for you who is watching, you probably don't need to know this because you're already doing research. You're already thinking one step ahead of the majority of best men who will never do any research and probably wing it. The advice I can give is this: do not wing it. Just don't do it. Write your speech out if that's how your process works, and practice. Practice it as much as possible. I completely understand if you need to use notes, but I would challenge you to reference those notes as little as possible. As you're giving the speech, do your best to make eye contact with the audience, and if you want that speech written down somewhere where you can go and reference certain points so that you don't lose your place, that's understandable. But bonus points if you're able to deliver an entire speech without reading off of the notes. In my opinion, the only way to do that and do that effectively is through practicing. I hope this quick video on how to deliver a best man speech was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments, was it helpful? If it was, hit the like button. Please subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. And if you have other questions, ask me in the comment section. I really do my best to respond to as many comments as possible, and it makes my day when I know people are watching my videos and getting value from them. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you are looking for a little bit of coaching help with your next speech, I am providing one-on-one evaluations. My contact email is in the video description. Reach out to me and let's discuss what that could look like.